Gotten very quiet in here. Thank you all for being here today. This is a day we've all long waited for, and it's a very exciting today. I'm not going to speak very much. I'm going to make sure that everyone here gets an opportunity to speak. I would like to thank you all for being here. We had to make some changes with the weather. I asked people, should we delay it? And they said, Geiger, if you delay anything related to this project, you're fired. So we moved it indoors. I appreciate the flexibility of everyone for being here. And with that, I'd like to introduce President Peter Fackler.
Hi, everybody. What a great day, huh? Thank you for joining us on this day of joy and thanksgiving. Just think, here we are as Clarion University's 150th year draws to a close, celebrating a project that I think symbolizes our collective optimism for the future, for the next 150 years, if you will. Even as the university's proud past gives us a well-deserved sense of accomplishment, we have confidence that our university's best years are surely yet to come. This project would not now be unfolding without the cooperative efforts of so many parties. Therefore, we offer our thanks as follows. To the legislature for funding this project, and to the Department of General Services, the cognizant Commonwealth agency on the project. To Bob Unger and Steve Dupes of Pennsylvania's State System of Higher Education for their support, advice, and counsel. To former presidents Joe Grunenwald and Karen Whitney for their leadership. To the university's Council of Trustees for their advice and support. And I'll ask members of the council who are here to just rise for a minute to be recognized. The university is also fortunate to have the support of two volunteer boards, the Clarion University Foundation Board and the Clarion University Alumni Association Board, some of whose members are here, and I will ask you as well to rise and be recognized, please. Continuing, to Len Cullo, Vice President for Finance and Administration, and Tim Fogarty, Associate Vice President for Administration, who have tended the business and facilities side of the work. To former Facilities Management and Planning Director Claire Heidler, who is serving as project consultant. To Athletic Director Wendy Snodgrass, the coaches in the entire athletics department, who have participated in program and design conversations, as well as former Vice President Harry Tripp and former Athletics Director David Cadis. And then most especially to our students, whose commitment and joy during their time at Clarion are the source of the energy and inspiration that have brought us to this day. Thank you, everyone, for what you have done to make the Tippin Project become a reality.
Thank you, Pete. And Pete had introduced former President Karen Whitney, also interim chancellor of the State System of Higher Education in Pennsylvania. Karen, would you like to make a few comments for us?
Never want to miss a chance to hear the sound of my own voice. But, the thing is, I want to point out to anybody who is here who might be visiting just for this event, really, these seats are filled. Fortunately, the students had the good sense to be in class during the last week of the semester. So I just want to point out, at a different time or a different place, every seat would have been filled, or in a different weather than the winter we've had, we'd be outside in front. So I'm actually pleased that the students are not here celebrating something so tremendous. They're taking their last set of classes or preparing or taking finals because that's where they ought to be. I can't tell you enough that when I joined Clarion University in the summer of 2010, Harry Tripp and Dave Kadis said, "Oh, we're about to break ground on a new Tippin refurb." And I have to chuckle because at some point, all you're left with in a project that took so long with so much work is your sense of humor. I mean, I do have to say that because many of you in the room here, it can't be said enough, who spent literally thousands of hours working through the state bureaucracy to get to this moment, which is a true joy. We will always be grateful, and I will say this, even if representatives and trustees, James and Oberlander, weren't here for the funding of Tippin, at the same time, I will continue to respectfully speak out that we need to get out from under all the state regulations and oversight and politics that took this project so long to get done. Had to say that. The good news is there's actually work on a bill that would get us out from the regulations that kept this building from being done as soon as it should have been. And I think that's the way we're in higher ed right now, is trying to find our best space to operate for the good of our students in our community. But this is a tremendous project. Doug Lees was just reminding me that he's been at the university since 1966, and you probably, knowing you 2 or 3 years after Tippin first opened, you started refurbishing it, at least in your head. And it's now 2018, and appreciate your long involvement and support of continuing the dreams that Tippin has made. Because Tippin, and you all know this, and I explain this to the governor and others, in communities like ours, Tippin's not just a gym. Tippin is often a pole in the pole barn of multiple counties where they come together to pursue sport and dreams and championships that they couldn't anywhere else in the region. So it is more than a gym. It's a place of coming together and of community. And I couldn't be more proud. I just get so excited when I see the drawings about the future and the potential and the future lives that are changed. All of you all can talk about the first time you went in there and whether you were a spectator or an athlete, what it meant to you and the pursuit of championship and excellence. And I have to also say again that Clarion University Intercollegiate Athletics leads the way in scholar athletes. And in not only just having champions at the national level, but graduates. And to me, it's about both. So I'll stop there. There are far more important voices to be heard from today, but I just couldn't miss this party because this is a fabulous event, and I can't wait to see the first competition in Tippin when it reopens. So congratulations, Clarion.
Thank you, Karen. Now it's my pleasure to welcome the chairperson of our Council of Trustees, Joy J.D. Dunbar.
Thanks, Jim. Know that I stand here on the shoulders of former trustee Paul A. Weaver and Cy Alizadeh, who championed me to be a trustee, but that the 4 trustees who are seated in the second row are standing here with us as well. Greetings to our Clarion University family and my personal family. So you know it's an investment in history if you can bring people from both sides together. The first person I met with today was a student who is using this photography in sports for the rest of his career. And the next person I saw was my nephew, Matt, also a student. And as trustees, it's the most important voice we listen to. It's pretty iffy when Tippin was built. I keep asking people, and they say, it's old. It's really old. It's over 60 years ago. But he knows how long ago Tippin was built. When was it, Don?
We finished in 68, moved in August of 68.
Moved in August of 68. I want to tell this perspective from a student that came here, say, 45 years ago, when Tippin was shiny new. That's you. That's you. It's Jane France saying, I was here 45 years ago when Tippin was new. So there were lots of students who would stand by Tippin and feel awestruck, hushed, So happy that they picked Clarion University because this university invested in its students as evidenced by the building. Lois Kahn said, "The sun never shines as brightly as it does until it hits the side of the building." And though we pictured today standing outside in that massive muck across the street, with the wind wafting in our hair and shovels in our hand, we know that there was a point when Tippin also was glorious, and we celebrate those years of glory just as we celebrate our groundbreaking. So to that shy student that waxed so eloquent in the shadows of Tippin, what was happening at the time about 45 years ago? Well, the battle of the sexes was determined that year by a tennis match. The first cell phone call was made by a Motorola engineer. The cell phone weighed more than 2 bricks and was the size of a pineapple. Oddly, he could have picked anyone to call, but he picked a competing engineer at Bell. Do you remember Bell? Do you know how long it took the Motorola cell phone to be approved? 10 years. Bell hit the market before they did, though they were the ones that made the first cell phone call. It sounds a bit like the history of Tippin. The songs at the time were Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and the Eagles, Desperado. So as you go through those lyrics in your head, I want you to think about how the movies at that time paralleled our journey with Tippin, starting with The Exorcism, Live and Let Die, Last Tango in Paris. How many athletes competed in Tippin? The chancellor just whispered, "Oh, thousands." Though people who went to school here 45 years ago know that we got our certificates at the stadium. For many years, thousands of certificates were handed out by trustees in wool coats trimmed in velvet on a stage that is hotter than the hinges of hell. But the students were joyful. Many swimmers, like trustee Melissa Bauer, swam to victory, and many wrestlers wrangled championships. We even had people who were Olympic athletes that competed at Tippin. Jim Rohn, who's an architect, and I say this in homage to my husband, who is also an architect, said, "Whatever good things we build, they end up shaping us." Because I lived in the skin of that student 45 years ago who sat in the shadows of Tippin, that unremarkable student who marveled at the buildings and wondered where life would take her at that university, I end with this quote from Winston Churchill. "We build buildings, and then they shape us." Thank you for your kind and gracious attention.
Thank you, JD. Now it's my pleasure to introduce another member of our Council of Trustees, also state representative for our 63rd District, the Honorable Donna Oberlander.
Thank you. It's always hard to follow our poet and wordsmith, JD, but I'm going to do my best. So I was reflecting on how much I love this university, how much I love this campus and the people who are on it, and I was thinking about just reflecting on Tippin, and really that it is the gateway to this university. This is how people enter our campus. This is how they find out about who Clarion is, how awesome it is. I was thinking about the emotions that have happened in that building, that big building. I thought about the victory cries. I thought about the tears of happiness and joy when people were getting their diploma. I thought about my little children who learned how to swim in that building, and all the many, many kids that I saw crossing to go to their swim lessons. I thought about my dad, who spent years taking care of that pool. He took care of the temperature and the chemicals to make sure it was just right. And I think about this is a new chapter in a very exciting time for Clarion University. And I am so pleased to be here with all of you while we celebrate this new building, this new chapter in Clarion University's life. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for loving Clarion as much as I do.
Thank you, Donna. One of the great things about Clarion University is our relationship with our community. And with that in mind, I'd like to bring our mayor, Mr. Dan Parker.
Thank you, Jim. It's an honor to represent the Borough of Clarion today at this groundbreaking event. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two members of Borough Council who are here with us today, Carol Lapinto and Dr. Brenda Sanders-Day. Carol likes to point out almost daily that Borough Council has all the power, but I'm just a pretty face. But the pretty face at least gets to come and do these activities. So, Dr. Whitney, President Fackler, Dr. Snodgrass, and the coaching staff and students. I know for you, like many of us in the Borough of Clarion, it felt like this day would never come. We waited patiently for the approval of the funding for Tippin Gym's renovation and for the approval of the bids to do the work. I don't know about you, but I feel like this is an exciting time for the Borough of Clarion and Clarion University. There's an excitement, an energy in the air that just crackles. We have the new suites on Main. We have the renovations at Tippin. We have the work that the borough is planning to do on Main Street, and so much more. It's just an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to what these projects herald for the future of our community and for the university. It seems fitting to me that Tippin Gymnasium and Marwick Boyd Auditorium sit across from each other on the campus, a fine balance between the arts and athletics. These are probably the two buildings that Clarion residents frequent the most often on the entire campus because they help to bring the campus and the community together in common cause. These are not just performance arenas, they are community centers. It is Tippin Gymnasium that captures so much of the community's attention and affection. It's a place where we watch our children play in school athletics like PIAA basketball and wrestling tournaments. It's a place where our children learn to swim, and it's a place where we cheer on our local college team. Names that have come out of Tippin Gymnasium over the years have become well known in this community. They've set examples of leadership, service, and honor. Al Jacks, Bob Bubb, Bill Miller. These men worked their entire careers at Tippin and went on to give back to the community that for decades had supported their teams. Many will talk about the great personalities and the big stars that are associated with Tippin Gymnasium. People like Waldo Tippin and Frank Laganali, John Calipari, and Kurt Engel. People who have become legends in Clarion athletics and people who have found success on the world stage. But it is the student from the small town, the young man or woman who is recruited to Clarion University from places like Clarion or Du Bois, Butler or Warren, that bring the people of Clarion to Tippin to cheer. The residents of the borough get to know the university students and the student athletes in particular. We adopt them into our community, and we take personal interest in their accomplishments in the arena and their success in life. Student athletes like Melissa Bauer, who was a nationally ranked swimmer, and Logan Pearsall, who was perhaps one of the best divers of his generation. They are familiar names to us, they are friends to us, and they've found success in business and collegiate coaching, respectively. And it was at Tippin Gymnasium that was the cradle of their success. Collegiate athletics is often the means of a college education for many young people in the borough of Clarion and for towns much like ours. I want to tell you one last little story about a young man named Mikey Pavasco, who came from a blue-collar family in Homestead, a little factory town near Pittsburgh. He came to Clarion on a wrestling scholarship. Like most young men, Mikey had some scrapes along life's way, but athletics gave him guidance and structure. Athletics gave him opportunity. He had a distinguished wrestling career at Clarion University, graduated with honors, and went on to get his MBA. Much of the credit goes to the values he learned at Tippin and the support he received from the people of Clarion, who were his fans. The people of his adopted hometown crowded into Tippin Gymnasium to watch him wrestle, to cheer him on, claiming a small part of his victories for themselves, taking pride in knowing they had fostered his success. There are thousands of stories like Mikey's and Melissa's and Logan's. They are stories of successful athletes, to be sure, but more importantly, they are stories that we, the Clarion community, can tell because we were witness to their success. We cheered them on in a place called Tippin Gymnasium. With this renovation project, Tippin Gymnasium will continue to serve the needs of athletes and students and the community. And athletics will continue to provide opportunities, and the community will continue to gather here to cheer on our Golden Eagles. Now let's break some ground.
Thank you, Dan. I can hear the cheers for Mikey right now, so thank you. As all of our wonderful speakers have mentioned, this really is all about the students and the student athletes at Clarion University. And with that in mind, Dr. Wendy Snodgrass, would you please come forward?
It's so good to see everyone here today. As I thought about today and reflected on what this moment means, I had a saying that kept coming back to me over and over and over again, and it was, "Good things come to those who wait." And boy, have we waited a long time for this. And with that, though, great things are coming. I am unbelievably thrilled and so excited for what is going on across the street. The moment we saw that fence go up, I think you probably could hear the cheers from the staff and all the student athletes now that we're all up in Ralston come down when we saw that fence go up, so it's been great. I have the pleasure of sharing with you what all is going to be done in the building in terms of the renovation. So I have my notes so that I don't mess it up. So the $42.7 million project will hold a total renovation of the building. It will include a new entrance and lobby to the facility. There will be a complete overhaul of the volleyball and basketball courts and the seating that accompany the new arena. The natatorium will be completely overhauled with a new combination of a swimming and diving pool. There will be expanded areas for the wrestling program, a brand new 2-story weight room, new locker rooms, and a new auxiliary gymnasium. The facility will also get new restrooms, a new HVAC system, and new LED lighting fixtures throughout. Did you hear the HVAC, everybody? Air conditionings, right? Hallelujah. The project is also designed to achieve the LEED Silver level of sustainability. The contractors that were selected for this project are Mascaro Construction Company, Rennick Brothers Mechanical Contractors, Shipley Brothers Construction, and Westmoreland Electric Services. And the project is slated to be completed on September 4th, 2019. So we're pretty excited about it. I just want to say a couple of thank yous. Thank you to those of you who were involved in the project and getting us to this point where we can celebrate that it's actually happening. As I said, it's been a long time coming, and it's such a great feeling. I also want to thank our coaches, the athletic administrative staff, and all of our student athletes for your unwavering patience in getting us to this process and to this point. But also, your excitement is electric. I am beyond thrilled for what this is going to do for our programs. I am so excited for the change that is coming to Clarion Athletics. And I'm excited that this project is not only a commitment to our athletic program, but it's a commitment to our institution and our community that we are going to be here for another 150 years, and our athletic programs are going to thrive as a result of it. It is truly going to enhance not only our athletic program, but it's going to enhance our student-athlete experience. I look forward to welcoming everyone back when we break ground, hopefully, or whatever it's called, when we open the doors back up to Tippin, and welcome you all back in as our Clarion family. Welcome you to our athletic programs, and we really look forward to welcoming our community back as our fans and supporting all of the athletic programs and the young students that are in the community back into our building. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Cameron Butler. Cameron is the vice president for our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and he's also a member of our wrestling program.
Thank you. On behalf of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee and our fellow student athletes, I want to thank everyone involved who put this project together. This renovation demonstrates the university and the state of Pennsylvania's commitment to the overall student-athlete experience in the athletic department. I like to tell this story. When I came to my recruiting visit, Coach Ferrero was really excited about the Tippin project, as everyone else was, and he went all out explaining it to me, brought out blueprints and diagrams, and he could not stop talking about it. And of course, I came here because I loved it. And more than 2 years later, we're bringing in new recruits, and he's doing the same spiel. Same spiel. We thought we were special. And it works, as it should. Jokes aside, the improved competition, training, and weight facilities are going to enable all of our student athletes to do more than we have before and greatly enhance our athletic experience. We are also excited to train and compete in the new facility while representing the university, community, and you to give you all something to be really proud of. I am especially excited to win some matches while the wrestling mats roll out on the gym floor. We are truly grateful. Thank you, and go Golden Eagles.
Thank you, Cameron. If I could real quickly, the one group that none of us mentioned, we have a lot of our coaches here today. Could you all please stand up? You guys have been long-suffering. And one final person, a long-suffering soulmate, if you will, of this project is here with us, Mr. Chuck Shaw from DLA Plus, our design firm. They've hung in with us. We teased Chuck that this was his first project out of college, and now he's been able to see it to his own fruition. So thank you for being here. With that in mind, we're ready to ask you to don your helmets, grab your shovels. We have actual real dirt from Tippin here. So if we could have you all gather up, we will do the ceremonial dig. Yeah. The chancellor just gave me permission to tell them what to do. Okay, so let's have let's now, we have a reception in the back. Please feel free to stay. Thank you all for coming. Trustees, why don't you come forward and we'll take some more pictures. Anyone else that wants to come up and have their picture taken, please come on up. Thank you, Jim. Hey, very nice. Thank you. Good, nice.